The number of deaths, although they tried hard to increase the number of deaths, are only hundreds. The exact figure would be announced very soon.
Iran's foreign minister claims hundreds killed in protests, but internet blackout persists amid conflicting death toll reports. Tehran, in the midst of one of the most severe nationwide uprisings since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has downplayed the scale of casualties during the ongoing protests, insisting that only hundreds of peaceful demonstrators have been killed, not the thousands alleged by opposition sources and human rights groups. In recent interviews and statements to diplomats, Araghchi described higher death toll estimates as part of a misinformation campaign orchestrated by foreign adversaries, particularly the United States and Israel, to justify potential military intervention. He attributed many deaths to terrorist elements allegedly armed and supported externally, while claiming the situation is now under total control, and that Iranian security forces have largely neutralized the unrest. Araghchi also reiterated Iran's readiness for fair negotiations, but warned of preparedness for war if provoked. The protests, which erupted on December 28, 2025, initially over soaring inflation, currency collapse, and economic hardship, quickly evolved into widespread calls for regime change. Demonstrations have spread to over 180 cities and towns, involving bazaar merchants, students, workers, and ordinary citizens chanting anti-government slogans and clashing with security forces. Independent monitoring paints a starkly different picture. The US-based human rights activists news agency Hrana has verified at least 2,403 protester deaths as of mid-January 2026, along with 147 government-affiliated fatalities and over 18,000 arrests. Amnesty International has documented evidence of mass unlawful killings on an unprecedented scale, with security forces using live ammunition, including rifles and shotguns loaded with metal pellets, against unarmed crowds and bystanders, often targeting heads and torsos. Eyewitness accounts and verified videos show makeshift morgues overflowing in Tehran and other areas, with families searching body bags for loved ones. Other reports vary. Some exile-based outlets like Iran International cite figures as high as 12,000 deaths, primarily from intense crackdowns on January 8 to 9th, while Western media and analysts note anecdotal evidence consistent with thousands killed, far exceeding the 2019 protests, around 1,500 deaths, or the 2022 Mahsa Amini uprising. A key factor fueling skepticism toward the regime's narrative, the nationwide internet blackout imposed since January 8, 2026, one of the longest and most comprehensive in Iran's history. Connectivity has hovered at roughly 1% of normal levels for over a week, with mobile data, broadband, and international calls severely restricted or severed. Human rights organizations, including Amnesty International and Access Now, argue the shutdown is a deliberate tactic to prevent protesters from coordinating actions or sharing real-time evidence of violence, obscure the full extent of casualties and human rights violations, limiting documentation and international scrutiny, disrupt information flow while allowing state media and government channels to broadcast pro-regime narratives, such as footage of counter-demonstrations. Araghchi stated on January 12 that restoration was being coordinated with security forces and could occur soon, but as of January 16, no full reconnection has been reported. Efforts to circumvent the blackout, including Elon Musk-activated Starlink access, have faced jamming and seizures of satellite equipment by authorities. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk has urged Iran to end the repression, restore communications, and respect rights to peaceful assembly and information. Protests continue despite the blackout, with reports of clashes in multiple provinces, though at reduced visibility due to severed networks. As global attention intensifies, with U.S. President Donald Trump warning of strong action against executions or further violence, the Iranian regime's information control strategy raises urgent questions. If the crackdown is as limited as claimed, why maintain such an extensive digital blackout that hides the streets from the world? MJK Blog will continue monitoring developments as more information emerges from inside Iran.